SwiftUI course. In the last video, we talked about list, which is a very useful way to display multiple items in a list. This time we are going to talk about sections. So sections are very useful to separate these items you display within a list. For example, if you are doing a delivery app, you might have orders that are already delivered and orders that are completed, orders that are still in progress. So we might want to display this in different sections. For example, we can have a section called delivered and we can have a section called ongoing orders. Alright, so to illustrate this, I'm gonna create a data structure called an order. So let's do a struct order. This is from the concept of Swift, and then we can define that each order will have an order ID, and each order will have a, for example, a customer name, right? Or maybe the shop name. Okay, and then we can have an order status. So right here, for example, order status can be for example, an integer. So 0 means not delivered, 1 means delivered. All right, so now within here, I can create a variable that stores a list of orders. So for example, we can have all orders, right, which is an order array. This can equal to, so let's provide some demo data. So for example, order ID can be, 01, shop name. So for example, hi hat cafe, and then I can also have another order ID, for example 02, and for example this one can be from the ramen store. Okay, so I can provide an order status here just to demo it. So for example, let's say the order from the ramen store is already delivered, so let's mark this as 1. Alright, so this is just our demo data. And now, do you know that I did not label this with the @state keyword, which means the order list cannot be changed during runtime. Okay, so let's write our list. So let's do a list here, and the list is gonna display all the orders. Now, do you remember that last time we talked about using identifiers? So you can define the identifier for each object, so SwiftUI can efficiently reuse different views. So right here, we do a slash, and then let's do a colon mark. So this is gonna be self dot. Let's use the order ID as an identifier. Now, do you know that if you can write this structure, or if you can change the structure, you can simply add an identifiable, conform this to the identifiable protocol, and then here you can click on this little circle and add this identifiable protocol stubs. Now you can define a variable called ID, which you can see as a string. Now we can use this way to compute the variable when it's accessed, and then let's say within this block we can return the self.order ID. Now I do not need to put this ID parameter when we are initializing the list. Now remember, we need to provide the content for each row of the list. So right here, this is a single order, and then use the word in. So within here, we provide what view we should show for this order. So for example, we are displaying the shop name, and we'll just put a text order.shop name. Alright, so as you can see, right now we have a list listing all the orders and displaying the shop's name. Now, as we learn about label, we can also show a label here. So let's comment this out. We can also show a label here. Displays a shop name and a system image. So remember, system image is basically an SF symbol. So we can open SF symbol and look up the symbols you want to use. So for example here, I want to display different symbols based on the order status. So there are two ways to do conditional calls, at least in this case in SwiftUI. The first way is inline, right? Let's write our conditions first. So order.order status, right? Because we are accessing this single order object. And then if the order status so equal to 0, which means it's not delivered, and you write a question mark. So this is a statement that's gonna run when this condition is true. Okay, so when it is true, when the order status is 0, when the order is not delivered, we'll show the bicycle icon. So we can open SF symbol and we can use this bicycle icon here. Then you use a colon mark. So following the code or the string that you will use when the condition is not true. So in this case, when the order status is not 0, which means when the order is already delivered, we can show a check mark. Now here we go. Within our view, we can see the order for Hi-Hat Cafe is still in delivery process, and the order for the ramen store is already delivered. Now, what if I want to display them in different sections? Well, basically, what I can do is, remember we can use list separately without any initialization parameters. So within here, we can just use a single list. And then, just as we learned before, we can use a for each within the list, right? So I want to display, in progress orders. So here, I can just initialize a section. So remember, within list, you can put multiple SwiftUI view components. So for example, I can put a section. Now I can provide a title here. So you can just double click this autocomplete. I can provide a title called in progress. And for the content, I hit enter on my keyboard. And now here, I will have all the in progress items. So for example, I can use a for each here, because we will have multiple orders in here, so we're just gonna loop through all of them and create a view for each of them. So we use for each here. As you can see, this autocomplete actually gives us for each of the all orders, and for each order we will return a view. So within here we can show order dot shop name. Okay, but now this just shows all the orders. I want to just show the in progress order. So what I can do is within here, within all orders, instead of showing all the orders, I can apply a filter. Double click, now hit enter. Now we are gonna return the condition that the order is gonna be filtered, the condition that the order will be included in the for each. So for example, here I have a single order object, and I will return order dot order status equal to 0. Remember, because 0 means it's not delivered. So now, as you can see, it only displays the order that is still in progress, that has the order status 0. I can just copy this code and paste it one more time, and then see here, completed orders. Now I just have to modify the section name first. Completed orders. Now within here, for the filter condition, instead of displaying the orders with the status of 0, we display the orders with the status of 1. Now we have the list of completed orders. So that's how you use a section within a list. You will basically have your own filtering function. So for example, here we're just filtering inline, but ideally you would either put them in separate arrays. So for example, you have an all order completed array and an all order in progress array, which is calculated by some of our functions when the view before the view appears. So and then you can use different arrays, and then you can display here, or you can use a function here. So for example, we can define a function, for example, get filtered orders, etc., etc. You can also do it inline by doing all order start filter, and then you provide a filter condition as we learned in the previous video, and then right here we can show different sections. So that's basically how you do sections within a list. You use the list parameter on the outside without any initializers, and then within the list you can provide different sections, and within each section you will return all the views for your order. Okay.